He came home to see my dad. My dad was living at Westminster Village, not far from here. And he had some dementia. He was having trouble remembering. And this was during a time where Sonny, in his thinking, realized that things weren't going to last forever, I think.
We had been to visit them at Christmas time, and he was just fine. Everything was fine. And we, at that time, we still go to Florida for a month at a time, and we invited them to come spend a week with us. So, and that was in February. And when they came to visit us in February, there was a marked difference, and there was something wrong with Sonny.
I had already noticed, we had basically weekly telephone conversations, and here's a man who had tremendous, command of the language, generally speaking, on the telephone, and always coherent and always, sometimes redundant, but almost always leading someplace important. And so it was always worthwhile to listen to what he was saying. But he'd get halfway through a thought and lose it. And he's 60. And I'm thinking, that's too early for somebody to be experiencing these kind of mental problems. And when I heard about all the little maladies he was having, I assumed it was just the drugs. I'm just going to write it off. And that's the advice I gave my mom. Just don't worry about it. He'll be fine.
Then sometime that summer, it seemed like August, I'd call home regularly or so. And in August, I'd talk to him. And we'd say something like, how's the weather? And he said, oh, it's a beautiful day here. It's like the Pittsburgh paints. All the different colors of the pig. And I'm like, what? I said, let me talk to Mom. I said, Mom, this is strange, something strange. She goes, yeah. She goes, I didn't know what it was. Maybe it was medication. And she was going through, she was taking it from doctor to doctor to doctor.
My mom was driving to various places, and after a series of these meetings with doctors, they were at home, sitting in the family room and watching television, and he apparently turns to her and says, hey, thanks so much for driving me around today. And she says, oh, no problem, I'm happy to do it. She says, my dad turned to her and said, yeah, my wife and I really appreciate it. And my mom freaked.
So we go into the doctor. Dory called him, and I said, something is terrible wrong, and I don't know what to do. So we asked Doug the 3 questions that they always ask. What is your name? I don't know. What year is it? I don't know. Who is President of the United States? I don't know. And he said, Dr. Boudel said, Doug, I want you to admit yourself to Overlook Hospital. And Doug said, okay. He came home. He dismissed him. I don't think he spoke too much after that. There was no help. He was seeing 3 neurologists, and that is a neurological disorder. And none of them said anything about Creutzfeldt-Jakob.
And even then, I'm thinking, geez, I hope they can restore my father to where he was. Never thinking that he had a terminal disorder. Never dawned on me. And we take him there, and they just submit him for a bunch of tests, and we meet with a doctor, and she basically, her first comment is, well, it's a virus of the brain. And I remember my mother saying, oh, thank God, thinking that, take some medicine, take a few aspirin, you get rid of this. And she said, it's not that kind of virus, and told us it was terminal.